Rose. Let me just fix this. Right, we've had a couple of glitches the past couple of weeks, so I'm hoping that doesn't happen tonight. Hope you're all okay. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Tuesdays are my request evenings. I'm not too sure what's going on here. Thursdays are stories I like to bring to you. And yes, so my format is I'll have a chat with the guys in the live, then I'll start the story. Once I start, I don't stop. I don't interrupt it to talk back and forth. I just carry on with the story, and then I'll have a little chat with the guys in the live at the end. So don't be put off with thinking, oh, she's going to be interrupting the story, because I don't do that. It's just a quick chat at the beginning. And then we'll get started on part 2 of the Gypsy Blanchard story. Gypsy Rose Blanchard story. Hey sis, how we doing? Things seems to be holding at the minute. If you want to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/deshrose5472. And like I say, let me just have a quick chat with the guys in the live, and then we'll start. I know, I'm not going to jinx it. I'm trying not to jinx it. Hey Phil, how we doing? How's it going? Are we okay? I feel like I've been gone for ages, and it was only one. But I feel like I've been missing for such a long time. How are we? Have we all had a good weekend and stuff? I did. Hey Warwick, how we doing? We seem to be working. I don't know what's going on, but we seem to be working. So, touch wood and all that sort of stuff. But did we have a good weekend, everyone? I did. It wasn't too bad. I had my parents come down to visit from Skegness, so that was lovely. And yeah, we had a good time with my pool table. We did. It was like having a pub. So it was good stuff. I've just soaked myself. Because the jumpers are back. Have we noticed? Winter's upon us now, and the jumpers are back. So I haven't done that properly, have I? That's a bit pants. So I'm going to be really hot, but it's cold in the day. I can't believe winter's back and these are back. Did you? Did I what? The winter stuff. This. What did I just say? Are you talking to me? Did I? Yes, I did. Yeah, let's not start, but I did, she's out, I'm having to, it's so warm, but I thought, do I put my summer stuff back on for the live, but then it'd be like, what time of year are you in? So yeah, it'll look a bit odd, so I'm just going to be calm. I know she has, Warwick, I know she has. I tried to bypass it, I tried to just ignore it, because I can see what's happened. Within seconds, she's off. So I'm just ignoring her. Did Tiffany tell you she threw a birthday party for a dog at the weekend? The siren's off. I know she's off. But yeah, she threw a birthday party for a dog at the weekend. Not her dog either. So, grassing you I am. I'm trying to fix Mick, because he's very much becoming the star of the show lately, isn't he? Look at him. He's getting very cocky lately. Right, I'm going to try to stop shaking it, because he'll make it dizzy. He did. And yes, he did. He had a cake and everything. She's quite crazy, is the Tiff. She's not quite right in the head. Bless her. But it was very cute. So what did yous do? Hi Sharon, how we doing? We seem to be holding on. It is very sad. It was very cute though. In her defence, it was very cute. And he's a big German Shepherd, and he absolutely loved it. He's a big baby. He's only 3, so yes. He loved it, but yes, very sad, but very cute. He did love it, he did. I could see, he looked very happy. Yes, he did. Oh, God. Stop messaging me. The beeps are starting to come through and I didn't turn it off. Do you know what it was? I was so panicked that this wasn't going to happen tonight. I didn't turn off my do not disturb, so they're all going to, they're all going to start coming through. You're going to start hearing buzzing, which is, with regards to the spray bottle and the buzzing, it's not a good start, is it, really? Do I sound okay? I'm not too loud, am I? He's always say I'm not too loud, and then when I listen to it back, I have to turn it down. It's so loud, but I do think that was just me. And my nails are done. Nails are all done, guys. Just, I know, not that anyone's interested, but they're done. Just so I haven't got to hide now when I'm doing my like, comment and subscribe. And I know, but no, I feel like it's slightly louder because even I'm having to turn it down. And I can normally deal with me. Right, okay. Are we ready for part 2 this evening? Are we ready? God, finally get to do it. Finish this story. Not my cup of tea. Not really one for singing to dogs, Phil. No. Is that not for you? Yes, I'm going to... Yeah, I'm going to start part 2 of this story that has just been the bane of my life, hasn't it? Should I say that? Do I say that? Maybe I should have kept that bit in my head. No? I think I maybe should have kept it in my head. But anyway, I've said it now, so we're gonna get started. Are we ready? Should we say? Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Have you? Oh, Sharon, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'll have a look. Do you know what it is? Oh, she's going to be like, here she comes with the excuses. But no, honestly, it shows me, because I've got 2 Patreons on there. I'm the only one to throw like. Has any, throw your likes. I've had 2, Warwick. I've had 2. Throw some likes on there. Come on, get them on there. But yet there's I've got 2 apps for Patreon, and you have to hunt down the comments. So have you sent me a reply or not? Shall I still go and have a look? Shall I go and have a nose? Okay, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. But I do see them. Because obviously I'm in there when I put the post up on a Tuesday and a Thursday. But that tends to be when I say it's a nightmare. I've got to get more used to it. I'm terrible. But I'll go in and I'll have a look. I've got a bit of a Rapsy Nesbitt thing going on tonight. So does anyone remember him with these comb over? But there we go. I think I've caught it now. I think I've got it. Right, okay. Let's go. Should we go? Okay. So, part 2 of the Unsettling. Where is it? Yeah, sorry, before I start, because it's her story as well, isn't it? Good thinking, Warwick. Where is Hayley? Hi, Charlotte. Oh, thank you. Happy Tuesday to you too. There's Hayley. Here she is. I was going to say, because it's Tiff's, Warwick's and Hayley's story, isn't it? And you're going to miss part 2. You're going to miss the part 2, and it seems like it's going to let me do it tonight, so let's go. Wonder if maybe it's a Thursday, because it let me do last Tuesday, didn't it? Mind you, it did mess up a couple of times last Tuesday. I'm just going to be quiet, so I'm not jinxing it. I'm just going to stop now. So, we're going to start the Unsettling Gypsy Road Blanchard story, part 2. If you've missed part 1, it was the last one up, so go back and have a look at that, and then you can come back and have a look at this. Okay, right. I've written something here. Why have I written this? Why have I written June? I've written June, and just ignore me. Just ignore me. I've obviously gone over this again, but I've written some. Right, we're going to just bypass that, whatever. You don't need to know what I've written. I write random things on my notes. And then I'm like, why did I write that? And it'll come to me later on, so I will remember. So leave it with me. Leave it with me. Anyway, as with I know why. Now it's come to me. Now it's come back to me. All right, I'm here. I'm back with you. Okay, so June 2015, we got to, didn't we? And we got to plan B of this Romeo and Juliet type couple that we've got going on here, not. So, plan A, if you remember, I know it should have been Tuesday and Thursday, so it has been a week, so I'll just refresh your memory. But plan A was for this couple to meet at the cinema. And just her mum, Dee Dee, to just fall in love with Nicholas the way Gypsy had. And it was all supposed to go just beautifully. And what actually happened is Dee Dee looked at this lad who's at a Disney, it was Cinderella, wasn't it? A Cinderella film, and looked at him like, why are you here at a kid's film on your own? A grown man. What's going on? He's weird. Stay away from him. So that backfired terribly. I think it goes to show the naivety of Gypsy still at this point, and Nicholas to go along with it. But it backfired horribly. If you remember, I mentioned plan C was for Gypsy to get pregnant. And she believed that Dee Dee could never, not love Nicholas then because she's pregnant with his baby. But the logistics of it and the fact that they live 500 miles away from each other, that wouldn't work. So they went back to plan B, okay? Now, if you remember, plan B had been in the process for a year. This pair had been contacting each other online at this point in the story for 3 years. And 1 year of this contact had been discussing basically getting rid of Mommy Dearest. Just getting rid of her. Okay? So, that's where we are. Alright? So, a little recap. Alright. So, Gypsy had sent money to Nicholas in Wisconsin. Like I say, he's 500 miles away from there where they are. For him to get a bus ticket to Springfield, Ohio. Oh, God, why have I said Ohio? They're not in Ohio, it's Missouri. Oh, well, that's a good start. I got a couple of minutes in anyway. To get a bus ticket to Springfield, Missouri. I don't know where, Ohio, ignore me. And it was for him to get the bus to come and a hotel. Okay? So, what had happened on that day, Gypsy and Dee Dee had spent the day at the hospital to get a feeding tube replaced. And even just talking about that, even just knowing where they'd been in the day to get her feeding tube replaced. Feeding tube she never needed. It's just... I'm very torn with this story. Let's just say I'm very torn. Am I torn? We'll keep going. But that's where they'd been for the day. Okay? Once they got home, Gypsy waited for Dee Dee to go to bed. Remember, she takes like a sleeping pill and she sleeps quite heavily, Dee Dee does. And then she contacted Nicholas to come to the house. Okay? So once he arrived, Gypsy gives him the knife, okay, gloves and duct tape that she'd stolen earlier on in the day. Now, he'd originally wanted her to get a taser as well, which obviously she couldn't get. So these are the things she'd stolen, whether it was earlier on in the day or over the past couple of days, but she'd managed to sneak them so Dee Dee didn't know about them. So this is what she'd got hold of, and she gave these to Nicholas, okay? Then Gypsy, it's planned out, but it's still planned out in quite a childish way, even after a year of them planning all this out, okay? She goes into the bathroom, she sits on the floor, and she puts her fingers in her ears, okay? She doesn't want to hear it. She doesn't want to know what's going on. And that's where she goes. All right. Nicholas goes into Dee Dee's bedroom. Obviously, Gypsy must have pointed it out before she went into the bathroom. Where Dee Dee, at this point, flat out. She's fast asleep. Remember, she has sleeping tablets. She's flat out and she's lying on her stomach. All right. I don't know how people sleep like that, but anyway. Now, at this point, he actually considered sexually assaulting Dee Dee. Now, this had been conversations that Gypsy and Nicholas had been having. They'd been having, I think I mentioned in part 1, sort of BDSM conversations where she was submissive. He was the, oh God, what's the, there's a submissive and the, sort of the, I don't want to say aggressive because it's not that way, is it? Because it's consensual. But do you remember I said you can even fill out contracts online? Dominant. So you've got the submissive and you've got the dominant one. And he's obviously dominant. You can fill out a contract online to say who's submissive and who's dominant. Thank you, someone's told me. So they'd had these discussions and it had gone as far as, babe, I'm going to kill you, Mama. I want to be able to do what I want with her. And Gypsy had agreed. So he'd considered doing that. But anyway, he decided against it. And he just began stabbing her in her back straight away. All right. Now, Gypsy said the first thing she could hear, even though she did have her fingers in her ears, she could hear her screaming and saying, "Who are you? Who are you?" Okay. And then she's screaming for Gypsy herself. And while Nicholas is in her mum's bedroom, killing her mum, Gypsy had said that she did consider going and helping her because she could hear her screaming for Gypsy. And that must have been, that must have been a bit baffling, not baffling, confusing for her. Because in one way, you've got this woman who's destroyed your entire life from birth. But in another way, she's the only person you've ever known to, I suppose, look out for you. That's how she would, I presume that was where the confusion would lie. But obviously she didn't go out to help her mum. And while this attack's going on in the bedroom, Nicholas does actually cut himself while he's in there. Now, he ends up stabbing Dee Dee 17 times. So it's not just a, he goes for it in there, he does. And when it was finished, he gets up. Obviously, it's horrific in the bedroom, okay? There's a lot of blood everywhere. He's got blood all on him. He goes to the bathroom where Gypsy obviously had been hiding, and they had like a secret knock that he would do, which I've heard someone else mention as well. It's very confusing. Like, who else would it be? Dee Dee, maybe? I don't know who she thought, but it was like a knock 3 times and then like a scratch at the door, so she would know it was him. Like the way they planned this, they planned the most small details but irrelevant details, really. And the big details they kind of didn't think of. So anyway, so he scratches the door, Gypsy opens the door, okay? Now, it said after this that even though she had considered going to help her mum, once Nicholas was there in front of her and basically saying it's done, She was like, right, okay, I'm going to get myself ready now. And apparently she stays in the bathroom and she shaves her legs and she gets herself all dolled up, I suppose. Goes into the bedroom, into her bedroom, sorry, with Nicholas. And sorry, I have this to be said, he cleans himself up too. But they go into her bedroom and they end up having a bit on her bed. Now, this is what's been said, but Gypsy, well, she claims it wasn't consensual and he'd actually sexually assaulted her. I don't know. Do I believe that? No, I don't. I'm gonna put my hand down now, and I know it's probably it could possibly be an unpopular opinion. I don't know, but the research I've done on the case, and have I watched everything because there's so much? No. Okay, so maybe there's something out there where I'd be like, oh, did I? But given the fact, did you say what came? Did I? Oh, that was what would you call that? A Freudian sleep. But given the messages that had gone on between them, what had come out with regards to how long this relationship had gone on between them, like I say, the conversations, the BDSM element, I don't know. I think it was consensual, but I stand to be corrected. Okay. Then they get ready and Gypsy steals $4,400 out of the mum's safe, DD safe. And Gypsy, again, here's where the naivety comes in. She thought that would last them years. She thought all that money, right, we're going to be able to go away and we're going to be able to hide and we're going to be able to buy whatever we want, you know, for years, Okay, I've been asked what BDSM, I believe it's bondage, dominatrix, sadomasochism. I believe that's what it is, but again, I stand to be corrected. I think that's what it is. Yes, so, okay, driving instructor, right. So she'd stolen this 4,400, and they went to stay at the hotel that Nicholas had been staying in. When he'd come to visit, the money she'd originally gave him. Okay, so while they're at the hotel, again, this is just, I don't know what they were thinking. They post the knife and a glove back to Nicholas's house in Wisconsin. They post it to his home, his family home. He lives with his parents. And they think that, they've got to have thought there was some Bonnie and Clyde characters. That's all I can think of. I mean, whether she even knew who Bonnie and Clyde was, but that's what's in my head. It's like, I bet they thought, and it was said, Gypsy thought they'd got away with it. They thought they were good. They'd got out of the house, they got to the hotel, they'd posted this back, they'd cleaned themselves off. Well, Nicholas, they bandaged up his hands. Don't forget, he cut himself during the attack on Dee Dee. So they thought they were home free, dry. Wow, I've lost all sense of meaning to that. Home and dry. Have I just made that up? Anyway, they thought they got away with it. All right, my God. Okay, so what they decide to do then, once they've posted it back, they then think, right, well, we're going to go and stay with Nicholas's parents. that's what we're going to do. So they stayed at the hotel for a couple of days, and then they get on a bus, one of those Greyhound buses, like a coach, and travel to Wisconsin to go and stop with the in-laws. It's just so, I don't know. I've seen a lot worse. I've seen a lot worse cases where they've thought they've got away with it, and you're like, how did you think that? How? But this one, it's just, you would expect them to be a lot younger. You would expect them to be a lot younger given how they went about this. I mean, there's no two ways about it. They've committed a murder. That's what they've done. So there's no sort of, oh, you naughty guys, why are you being so silly? There's no chance of that. I just think it was afterwards. It was like, what was he doing? What was he thinking? So Gypsy wears like a blonde wig. Plus she's obviously walking. Don't forget her wheelchair, her medication. She hasn't brought anything with her to the hotel. This is what I'm trying to say. They didn't. Where was she in their mind when Dee Dee's found, okay, and Gypsy's not there, but all her stuff's still there? This girl who needs all this medication to live, she can't walk, she's in a wheelchair. What were they thinking when people saw all this stuff still there? Now, we'll see what actually happened and what people did think, but just in my head, I was like, did you consider that? But anyway, once they get to Wisconsin, Nicholas's mum actually picks them up from the bus station when they get there. She thinks she's just meeting her son's new girlfriend. She's over the moon. And when they get back to their house, the family home, and but once they get back to the family home and they meet his dad as well, they just think they're meeting their son's new girlfriend. It's all lovely. It's all very sweet. And I feel for his parents. I genuinely do in this case. I do feel for his parents. So when they get back to Nicholas's family home, Gypsy starts to feel a bit guilty, but not at what she'd done, but just at her mum now being left in that house, obviously dead, but she doesn't want her left there for weeks and weeks. She doesn't want that. There's still that element of, I need to kind of make this right as best I can, I think. So she goes on to hers and Dee Dee's joint Facebook accounts. Don't forget, Dee Dee was very strict on the internet and everything else, so she was only allowed a Facebook account that Dee Dee had access to. And she wrote on there, "The bitch is dead," in capitals, okay? And sent that off, and then there was a couple of other little cryptic things that were put on there. But like I say, she says it's simply because she just didn't want her mum left there for days. That was it. So between the Facebook post and no one answering the door, because these were, if you remember from part one, these are kind of minor celebrities in their little town of Springfield. They were known and they were seen a lot. Gypsy and Dee Dee were, and obviously they hadn't been seen since they got back from the hospital that day, so people are starting to get a little bit concerned. The car's still in the driveway, no one's answering the phone, no one's answering the door. The Facebook message is really, really cryptic, like they're like, what's going on? So they start to get quite rightly worried, and they call 911. All right. When the police come, all right, they eventually get a warrant, they enter the home, okay, and the first thing they see in the living room is Gypsy's wheelchair and her meds everywhere, though quite obviously not taken, all right, so that's what they walk into. Now remember, they don't know what's going on, so they're like, right, okay. they start going through the house and they make it to Dee Dee's bedroom. But when they open the door, there is the obviously deceased Dee Dee lying in a blood-soaked bed face down. Okay, so straight away the alarm goes and they're looking around the house for this young handicapped or disabled, what would you say, young girl. Okay, the neighbours are obviously panicking. They're like, where's Gypsy? You know, she can't have a wheelchair, she can't walk, she hasn't got a medication, you know, whoever's done this must have took her. You know, the neighbours are really panicking as well. So the police start talking to the neighbours, asking the questions, and they're like, look, this is their relationship. Dee Dee was her sole carer. I don't know if anyone would know how to look after her. You've got to try and find this young girl. So they're really panicking. They're very upset over Dee Dee. They do a vigil. Ha! Sorry, I said vigil. I don't usually say that right. But they do a vigil that same night for Dee Dee. Also, you know, hoping and praying that Gypsy gets brought back to them. They seem like a very, very caring neighbourhood. They really, really do. So there is a neighbour called Aaliyah that Gypsy had been confiding in. Again, I mentioned it in part one that she'd been telling Aaliyah about Nicholas and how close they'd got and how they were going to get married and have children. And, you know, Aaliyah had at that point been thinking that Gypsy was much younger than her, so she'd kind of been talking to her as an older sister would. So Aaliyah remembered all this and she mentions to the police, she's like, well, she has been confiding in me that she's been talking to a lad online. Now, what had happened is Gypsy had printed out the messages that Nicholas had been sending. Now, I'm assuming it wasn't the more raunchy ones, let's say. I'm assuming there were probably more lovey-dovey ones. And she'd printed them out to show Aaliyah, to be like, yay, like, look, he loves me, this kind of way. So Aaliyah gives these to the police. It's like, I don't know if it's him, but there's something going on, there's something not quite right. So she does that, but his name's attached to these messages. So, the police then find the IP address very, very quickly. So they then find his address in Big Bend, Waukesha County, Wisconsin. Okay? And they get in touch with their police and they say, right, we need you to go around to this address, see if this young girl's there, see if this lad's there. We need to know what's going on. We need to check everywhere. He could have hidden her somewhere. They don't know. They don't know, but it's just a lead from Aaliyah, the neighbour, that they want to follow and just, you know, even just get rid of him from their investigation. So they do that, all right? So they the police go round to the family home, right? Now remember, there's a chance that he's got this girl tied up, or, you know, there could be anything going on. So the police raid the home of this family, and when they kick the door in, they're sat round the dinner table, Gypsy included, having a family dinner. Oh, and part of me thinks for Gypsy, this would have been the first time in her life that, you know, she was treated just as a normal person, as an adult. She was sat there with her boyfriend, being accepted by his parents and not being treated like a little girl and like an ill person. It just must have been It must have been very surreal for her. That's what I can think. And then all of a sudden, you've got the police kicking in the door to come and find you. And then you're like, oh, yeah, well, I don't actually need the wheelchair. So, but like I say, they were all eating dinner and everything. The family are shut, like, what's going on, what's happening. So they arrest at the time. They arrest Gypsy. They can see she's walking. This girl doesn't need this wheelchair that the neighbours back in Springfield was saying that she had to have. And they obviously arrest Nicholas, okay? So they're arrested on charges of murder and felony armed criminal action. That's what the charges are, okay? They're extradited back to Springfield, Missouri, held on a $1 million bail. All right? Now, the county sheriff, when all of this is going on, he just does a press release and basically says things are not quite what they seem. Because you've got all these, you've got the community who in their minds, maybe they'd heard they'd found Gypsy and they're thinking, right, okay, it's obviously this lad and he's kidnapped her and he's murdered her mum and this poor girl, she's going to be devastating, who's going to look after her now and she needs round-the-clock care. This would have been what these people were thinking of, I've no doubt in my mind. And when he said that, I'm presuming alarm bells maybe come around, but I don't think they'd have thought that. I don't think that's what they'd have thought. So as all the details begin to be released regarding Gypsy, obviously the community, they're betrayed, but they're horrified as well. They feel betrayed that have been lied to, but horrified that this has been happening to this young girl right under their noses for her entire life. I mean, they didn't know her their entire life. They didn't know her that long, but they knew how much care they believed she needed, and to think that all of that, it was coming out, was a lie. It's like, you'd be horrified, of course, but there is a betrayal there. So from the sympathy for Dee Dee as a murder victim, it then shifted from this sympathy for her, because don't forget, they'd done this vigil outside a house the night she'd been found, and all of a sudden they're realising she's not this victim of a senseless crime and the kidnapping, what they believe was kidnapping and everything. She's actually a monster. She's actually a monster who has abused her child from the day she was born, practically. And all of this is starting to come out. So the sympathy switches to Gypsy then for the years of abuse that she suffered. The prosecutor in the case, though, decided not to apply for the death penalty, whereas in fact a plea bargain was offered to Gypsy. Now in July of 2016, Gypsy actually accepts this plea bargain, and she's sentenced to 10 years for second-degree murder. So don't forget, Nicholas doesn't meet Gypsy. He doesn't murder Dee Dee, okay? There has to be an element of blame. Now, did she deserve to go to prison? Again, I know there's mixed feelings out there. I know there are. And I go back and forth. I go back and forth on this. I really do. I go back and forth. Let me carry on. I'll tell you at the end exactly how I feel. All right? So Nicholas, not only was the one who murdered Dee Dee, like we know, he didn't have the years of abuse as at her hands as a defence. He didn't have a defence in that way. obviously Gypsy did. She'd been abused since the day she was born, practically. So she had that history of what had led up to this. Nicholas didn't have that. He'd fell for a girl and knew he couldn't be with her unless this person was eliminated from the picture. So it doesn't really work as a defence in his case, okay? So we get to January 2017, the trial's postponed, so psychiatric tests can be done on Nicholas. Now, he had an IQ of 82. Now, we've done a story a couple of weeks ago where we know the threshold is 70, I believe. It's a low IQ, but it doesn't meet the requirement of having a learning difficulty. Learning difficulty, that's right, isn't it? Learning disability. It doesn't reach that level. Plus, he had autism. He's on the autistic spectrum. Okay. But the defence then tried for diminished capacity, which was, no, that didn't work. They weren't having that. November 2018, okay, we get to the trial. Now, the prosecution, their case was that this had been planned for a year, and he had plenty of time to pull out. He travelled there. He was the one who'd told her to get the knife, steal it if she had to. And the fact is, it was him in that bedroom with Dee Dee. Gypsy wasn't. She was in the bedroom. He didn't have to go through with it. He didn't. I mean, from what I can gather, Dee Dee was practically knocked out until, obviously, he kind of straddled her and began stabbing her. So she would never have even known he was in the house. He could have stopped right up until that last minute. So I'm assuming a lot of those facts went against him, okay? Whereas the defence said it was Gypsy's idea and he was just a love-struck lad who'd gone along with this plan of his girlfriend's, and he just wanted to make her happy. So this is the defence. Now, Nicholas, another thing that went against him, he actually confessed to the murder. When he was arrested, he confessed to it. Although in his interview, he said he'd only stabbed her about 4 times. And I've watched the interrogation. It doesn't look like he's lying. I mean, how would he think he'd get rid of it? Away with it. When he knows they've already found Dee Dee, it's like he genuinely believed he'd only done it 4 times. It's like whether it had become a blur, he blocked it out, I don't know. But I didn't take that he was trying to lie at that point. So the confession itself was played to the jury. The police had lied to him in the interrogation and they'd said that Gypsy had told them everything, which she hadn't. Not at that point. But as we know in other cases, they are allowed to lie in that way in the interrogation. It's recorded. They're allowed to do that. It doesn't mean you then confess to a murder. That's not what that means. But it does happen that way if you have done that because you're thinking at that moment, God, everyone knows everything, I better own up or I'm going to get in more trouble. And that's basically what happened with Nicholas, okay? Now, Gypsy, you might be wondering, well, where's she? Obviously, she's doing her time at the moment, but is she going to say, is anything going to be said? Well, yes, she did. She appeared as a witness for the defence. She actually appeared as a witness for the defence. She admitted that it was her that suggested killing her mum. She did also mention that they discussed maybe having a baby, which was the plan C that I'd mentioned, the plans that they'd set up. But, you know, I've got to admit, when I saw the bit of her on the stand for the defence. She didn't squirm out of it. The bits I saw, she didn't appear to squirm out of it, and she was quite honest. It appeared to me in that setting. Obviously you're under oath, maybe she would be too scared to lie, I don't know, but she basically told what had happened, and she says it was her idea, and she says it was because of all the abuse she'd had, and she just wanted to live her life. She just wanted to be a normal person. Anyway, again, I says I'll discuss it at the end, but the trial went on for 4 days, and then it went to the jury. Now, when it went to the jury, they had 4 choices, okay? They could have charged him, they could have found him guilty of involuntary manslaughter, second-degree murder, first-degree murder, or they could have found him not guilty. There was that option, all right? Now, it only took them 2 hours to deliberate. That's all it took. They didn't spend long on it at all. And they found him guilty of first-degree murder and armed criminal action. Okay? So, in February of 2019 is his sentencing. Alright? And he got life in prison for the first-degree murder, plus 25 years for the armed criminal action. Now, that was running concurrent. He'd spoke to the judge and asked, could it not be any more? He'd asked for kind of a mercy in some way. And all the judge did give him was that the charge would run concurrent, but he's in life anyway. He's got life. So it wouldn't matter either way. I suppose if it was to run consecutive and he did somehow get paroled from the life in prison, somehow, I suppose if it was consecutive, they could still pull him back. So I suppose concurrent is to make sure maybe that doesn't happen. But that's what he was sentenced to. Okay, Nicholas's lawyer requested a new trial, saying that the jury shouldn't have been able to hear that he had considered sexually assaulting Dee Dee. It hadn't happened. Why was that part of the prosecution's case? So that was denied. That was denied by the judge anyway. He was like, no, that should have been brought out in the trial. So that was denied. Then there's an appeal hearing, and there's videos shown of Gypsy emotionally manipulating Nicholas, right? And she sent him an instructional video of how to stab Dee Dee. She actually sent him a how-to of what to do to her mum. That wasn't shown. That wasn't shown at the trial. The emotional manipulation of Nicholas wasn't shown at the trial. So I understand why they could say, well, why wasn't that shown? But you told about something he considered that he didn't do, but you didn't show something she did do. So, there was a lot of questions under that and why that wasn't shown at the trial. Okay, so 2023, there was an appeal for a new trial submitted. Obviously, that decision's still awaiting. We're at the time of me telling this now, we are at, we're in October. Are we in October yet? Oh my God, are we still in September? Are we October yet? Well, it was September, October 2024, 19, I was about to say. Oh, you've gone back in time before YouTube even was invented. But, sorry, got a little bit followed up there. But yes, so we're in October 2024. It's the first today, I'm being told. Thank you. So nothing, that appeal hasn't gone through or been agreed one way or the other so far from 2023. Okay. Now, The community of Springfield themselves were obviously left in disbelief. They were just, I've said it, they were betrayed, they were horrified. Some of them actually wondered if Gypsy and Dee Dee were in on it, you know, and basically they wondered if Gypsy and Dee Dee, when they'd get behind closed doors after putting on this facade in front of everyone, all the neighbours and everyone else, if they'd get behind closed doors and just start having a giggle. You know, oh my God, can you believe they're that stupid? And Gypsy would be up just walking around doing gambols. You know, that's what they started to think. Is that how far this went? Now, Habitat for Humanity, do you remember they had gifted Dee Dee and Gypsy their home? Remember the big home they were gifted with the hot tub, and it was all done in pink for them? They were the only sort of charity that came forward and said anything about this, and they just said, we are just really deeply saddened by the whole situation. That was them. Now, Dee Dee's family, I shouldn't laugh. And no, I genuinely shouldn't laugh. Should I? This is what I mean. I'm so torn. Remember Dee Dee's history. Remember they wondered, did she actually kill her own mum? Was she trying to kill her stepmom? They knew even all them years back that she wasn't doing good by Gypsy, to the point of they believed she was abusing Gypsy. So there was no love lost with Dee Dee's family for her whatsoever. So not only did they not mourn her, her father and her stepmother, they flushed her ashes down the toilet. That's what they did with Dee Dee. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. Now, Rod, Gypsy's dad, just says it had all been like a tornado. Once Dee Dee had started the lies, he was saying she must have got to a point where it had just snowballed and she couldn't stop. Once one lie had gone into another, it had gone from the sleep apnea, the feeding tube, the wheelchair, all the other ailments that she thrust onto Gypsy and told, you know, everyone these stories. He said she wouldn't have felt she could stop. That's what he'd said about it. He also said he was so happy the first time he saw Gypsy walking without a wheelchair. He just couldn't believe it. He believed his daughter couldn't walk. He believed she had all these ailments. He honestly believed that. So could you imagine? And then your daughter in her 20s all of a sudden is walking around perfectly normal. Gypsy herself actually said although she knew she could always walk, okay, it wasn't until afterwards and she'd gone to the hospital to get checked as herself, no Dee Dee beside her, that she found out there was nothing wrong with her. There was nothing wrong with this girl. She didn't need a hearing aid. She didn't need the wheelchair. She didn't need the feeding tube. She always knew that she felt she could eat, but she trusted her mum. She knew she could walk, but because of all the meds Dee Dee had her on, and it would make her wobbly, that's why she believed she needed the wheelchair. Because of all the medication, and Dee Dee telling her, your hair's going to fall out anyway, let's just lob it off. So even though she knew that there was inconsistencies, let's say, she trusted her mum. And also, she didn't feel well at times herself because she was being pummeled with all this medication. So I can't imagine how that would have felt afterwards, realising everything was like everything. You know, you see clips of her in in the police station where she's up and walking, and she's walking a bit funny. I will say that it's like she's practicing, she's finding her legs. It's quite hard to see, but yeah, she says that's when she realised that she could walk properly. Because Dee Dee had always forced her back into the wheelchair if she tried to walk. So it's just very sad. Gypsy said on the 4th of January 2018, I feel like I'm more free in prison than I did living with my mum, because now I'm allowed to just live like a normal woman. And that's in prison. She's in prison and she feels more free than she ever did with Dee Dee. So it's very sad. Now, on the 27th of June 2022, she married a Ryan Scott Anderson. Well, she's in prison, by the way. So, okay. No, have you noticed that Nicholas is now? It wasn't. She didn't marry Nicholas. No, they just party company as soon as it happened. Not Nicholas though. To believe that Nicholas, he still loved her. Is it, you know? On the 29th of September 2023, she was granted parole, and on the 28th of December 2023, she was released from prison. All right. Now, she actually broke up with Ryan in March of 2024. Alright. So she hasn't even been out a year yet, and she's actually got her own show. Okay, it's called Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup 2024. Or have I written I think I might have written 2024. So Life After Lockup. Now, I know I have a few people in my life that watch this. Have I? No. No, I have not. No, I have not. I've seen clips, but no, I have not. Because, yeah, I just don't want to. It sounds awful, but give me a second, I'm nearly done, okay? Now, she's pregnant at the moment for her boyfriend, Ken Urquhart. And that baby's due in January of 2025. I believe it's a little girl. I believe so, but don't quote me. I believe it's a little girl. So, yeah, that's that. But it said that if her and Ryan are not divorced by the time the baby's born, he could possibly be put on the birth certificate. Not too sure. It's just something I've heard. I'm just throwing it out there. Look, I don't know how that works, but that's what's been said, okay? Now, there's been a lot of films, a lot of programs put out there, and if you do want to go and search them, go and find them, like I say, she's got her own show at the moment, Gypsy Rose Life After Lockup. If you want to go and see how she's getting on, she's on a second series. The films that were done, there was Mommy, Dead and Dearest in 2017. It was also a Dr. Phil segment in 2017. That was in on November 21st, 2017, that was. There's also a film, I believe, Love You to Death in 2019. That was in the January. It's also The Act. I believe that's a 6-part show on Netflix in 2019. That was in the March. And then Prison Confessions of G.R. Blanchard in January of 2024. Okay, so there's lots of stuff being done on this story, lots and lots and lots, and no doubt, I I probably could have gone on to a part 3, but I just wanted to do the history and the case itself. That's where I'm going to go. But no doubt there's enough information out there where I could have gone on with this. I could have got my own series like Gypsy. Anyway, right, okay. My thoughts on it. Oh, it's hard to actually voice my thoughts on it, because sometimes I feel one way and sometimes I feel another. I feel very, very sad for Gypsy's childhood, and right into her adulthood. Obviously, she was 23. But do I think that coming out of prison and making a show that quick? I don't know, but maybe she's got no money. Maybe they've offered her the world. Could be that. I think that once she was released, Nicholas should have been released, or very shortly afterwards. I do think that. Do I think she should have been put in prison at all? I don't know. But if she shouldn't have been locked up, no, it's hard to say neither should he, because he was the one. He was the one, yeah, that did it. But he was so, I believe, manipulated by then, and love Lorne and everything else. Plus, we know about his low IQ. We know he's got autism. You could see it on him. You could see it on him even in the courtroom. He literally in his own sort of bubble, you know. Bar when Gypsy was obviously on the stand, and then he was just looking at her. But no, I think if she's been released, I think he should have been released. I don't think there's anything to gain from that boy still being in prison at all. I just don't. If you want to rehabilitate or anything, I mean, yes, the guy to stabbing, 100%, you know, that was sent to him, that was held back. Hopefully, if he does get a new trial, or, you know, under the appeal, that will be allowed to be shown in court. I just feel like, yeah, I've got sympathy for both, okay? But it's torn because both did bad things. But I don't think either one is a bad person. That's the only way I can sum it up. I just think these who would have been good people did a bad thing. I don't know how else to say it. I genuinely don't. But that was the Unsettling Gypsy Rose Blanchard story, part 2. And like I say, I could have gone on part 3, part 4, because there's so much about this girl, but I think we're going to leave the case there. I hope I've done it justice for the people who've requested it, because there was quite a few who requested it. It wasn't one that I was going to do, but once I started looking more into it, I was glad I did. Because there was a lot that I didn't realise, that I didn't know what she'd gone through as a child and everything else. I knew vaguely, but I didn't know how in-depth it was and how bad it was. But I do think there's a young lad in prison at the moment who shouldn't be. That's how that's just me, and it might be an unpopular opinion, but it's just how I feel about it. So thank you for joining me. I'm here every Tuesday and Thursday at 8 p.m. Tuesdays are request evening, Thursdays are stories I'd like to bring to you. If you want to join my Patreon, it's patreon.com/JessRose5472. Like I say, thank you again for joining me. I'm going to have a quick chat with the guys in the live now. But yeah, if you've got any requests, if you want to pop them on, or I'd really appreciate it if you want to subscribe and drop a like in there. But yes, thank you. Have a lovely couple of days and I'll be back on Thursday. How we doing, guys? Yous were all very good. I think it was Hayley tonight, wasn't it? I think Hayley nearly threw me off at one point, but yous were all very, very good. How are we? About a bit. Lots of people in the wrong book. Oh, really? Oh, that'd be interesting, Sharon. Was that okay? Oh, thanks. Thanks, Warwick. Thanks, Hayley. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad. Yeah, it was a hard one. I can't emphasise enough, the requests are hard, not because of the story itself, but because I'm very conscious that I could miss things out. I thought it would have been so easy. No, 100%, Phil. That's why I know he did a bad thing. I get that. I understand that, but it was a hard one. It was a hard one. Let it go. You can let some of them go, Warwick. Oh, thanks, sis. Thank you. Yeah, but I know people, when they request the stories, it's because they know them quite well a lot of the times. And I'm always like, I have to make sure I find every little bit, because if I know a story and someone's telling it, I'm a bit like our friend that used to jump in, and I'd be like, well, what about that bit? I wouldn't say that. I'd kind of say it to myself. I'd never say it to the person, unlike a couple of people that we've had on here. But yeah, I know how frustrating it can be. So I hope I managed to get I probably missed. There was bits I missed out that I thought, that it was okay. It didn't affect the story, if you get what I mean. But anyway, are we all okay? Look, the minute I finish, I start again. I don't know what it is. I was saying to Warwick, we were on about, oh, that's good, sis. So I'm glad. Yeah, we were on about, do we remember the crossbow cannibal years ago? I did that story. And Warwick had says, like, you look quite sort of shy in this one. And I'm like, I still am. I get so, yes, it is. Thanks, Warwick. Thanks. Yes, it is. Thanks. No, I haven't, but my mum watched it, Phil, and it was after watching that, my mum had, it highlighted a lot with my son as well. Is that what it is? Had you watched? Oh, he's not talking to me. Sorry. I didn't see it. I just saw the beginning. I didn't know he wasn't talking to me. But, yeah, when I watched that one from years ago, I was watching it. I was like, I was a bit more quietly spoken, let's say. But don't forget, I didn't have the mic. And I do get really nervous right before every I tell you what, Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, I start then. And then I'm fine. But then probably about half an hour beforehand, I'll start to get really nervous. Can't say I have, but let's not go there. Oh God. Yes, let's not. Let's leave that where it is. We'll leave that where it lies. Has Kelly been in tonight? I haven't seen Kelly this evening. She's been quiet. Do you know what I keep meaning to, I might message her actually, because I keep seeing you asking how she is, but I haven't. What was wrong? Well, you don't need to tell me. But I don't know if she said, but I keep seeing you ask if she's okay. So I've missed what's happened. I've only seen it, I think, the past 2 times. But shh. What did I say? Shouldn't. Oh, about discussing that. Yes. We're going to leave that there. We're going to leave that one there. But yeah, I'm curious. I'm not curious at all. I made that up. I'm concerned is the word I was looking for then. Make sure she's okay, so I might drop her a message. Yes, you did say that's how it had started. Yeah, that was the same. Like my mum, we knew, but when my mum watched that as well, it was like, oh, this is a lot of what's going on with my son. But yes, so what are we doing Thursday? I think I'm gonna bring. Do you know what? I'm bringing my own story to use on Thursday, but I have got Kelly's asked for Diane Downs. Do we all know that one? I do. And me and Tiffany, right, let me tell you something about me and Tiffany a few years ago. We used to spend weekends. I'm not doing a part 3. Absolutely not. No, it's done. It's over. It's packed away. No, but me and Tiffany used to watch, is it the True Movies on Sky True Movies, on channels, was it 323, 324? Every weekend. We used to get really excited to watch it as well. And that's where, I don't think it was the first time I'd watched about Diane Downs, but Up to Date was the first one. There was that one, and because it's Farrah Fawcett who plays the part of Diane Downs, and there was another one called The Burning Bed that she was in. Very, very sad one as well. Do you remember them, Tiff? Do you remember them film? Mind you, I'm asking Tiffany, for goodness sake. She's not going to remember, is she? She's not going to remember at all. But that's where I started, like on those, on the journey of those two. I'm not doing it. Yeah, Diane Downs. Well, that one Kelly has asked for. So I'm going to do that next Tuesday. Do you not remember, Tiffany? You're terrible. Yes, we used to like True Movies on Sky. But they don't do, I don't even know if it's a channel anymore. I don't even know if they do it anymore. But you can watch so much elsewhere, can't you know? But that was the only place at the time, and it was just so, it was like, we'd spend till 4 o'clock in the morning watching those films. It was ace. They were good nights, good times. So yes, I think that's the one I'm going to do next Tuesday. And then, I know I've got a couple more. I'm wading through them. As Tiffany says, it takes me 6 months. Do you remember it? Finally, you do. Well, it's the same actress in that played Diane Downs. She's the one with the 3 children. I'm not going to tell you any more than that, because otherwise I'm just giving it all away. Hi, have you got a new, is that, Jerome? Have you got a new name? Like a new, what's the word I'm looking for? A new channel name? Mysteries with Mr. Belgic. Excellent. Yeah, is that you? You've missed it. You've missed part 2. I'm done. I'm rounding up now. I'm about to do my, handle. Yeah, there we go. I'm about to do my jingle now. Any second now. My weenie. I don't know what that is. I don't know. I got a feeling you and Warwick are just as bad as each other, just from different countries. But how are you, Jerome? Are you okay? Is it Patrice? Patrice, isn't it? Oh, God. Very funny. Very funny. We're all good fun in here. I was telling my mum the other day, I was like, part of me would like, if new people came over and joined in the live, but part of me doesn't want them to. But, oh, okay. Yeah, because I don't know what that is, a weenie. What? Yeah. Oh no, Phil. We're ending on a lovely. I don't believe it's anything against it. I think he's old school. I don't know how to say this. That's it is hello hello. That's what you're doing, aren't you? Hello hello. Do you know? And what's terrible is I didn't actually. No, he didn't. He didn't. He didn't mean anything. I think he's just curious. I think he's curious to know what that. Yeah, but we're not going to. We're not going to venture down that path again. Although I've done the story this time. The other time I didn't even get to the story, did I? And we had to just call it a night. But yes, you'll have to tell me about Wee Me as well. I'm not. I've moved on. You shush. You shh. You shush. Too slow. I was quicker. I stopped. Driver's consent. Oh, I'm just weeping. Oh, that's funny. Oh, little old me. Oh, that's cute. Oh, did you? Oh, okay. I've only just seen it now. Is that a second time? All right. Okay. I'm just trying to smooth it over. But there we go. What was I going to say? The hello, that Warwick's on about. I didn't know that was about the Second World War. Is that terrible? All I knew is I didn't really find it funny as a kid. No, he calls me women. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean, but the equivalent is little old me. Is that what you mean? Like, little me, wee me. So it's Scottish. Is that what you mean? Oh, thank you, Jerome. That's very sweet. Thank you. I'm not going to agree. I'm very sweaty at the moment, but thank you. I'll take a compliment where I can get one. Thank you. It's very sweet. Don't know what to say now. I don't know what to say now. Someone think of something. So autism. So let's talk about that. I'm joking. I know. I'm off to France or Belgium. I'm not going to pull when he realises I can't even tell what part of the country he's in. What part of the world, sorry. Right, okay. Oh, Phil, you woke. Oh. Well, we will do this. We will do this, but maybe not tonight. But we will. Because I didn't realise just how late it's getting. I didn't realise. I've got hair right here. But, we off. Right, let me do my jingle. And Thursday, I'm not too sure what I'm bringing to you, but I'm going to try and make sure it's one that at least half of you haven't heard of. Let's try that. So, if you could comment afterwards, I'd really appreciate it, and drop a like in there. I'd really appreciate it. Or you can join my Patreon, patreon.com/JessRose5472. Thanks, Tiff and Hayley and Warwick and Phil, Sharon and Jerome. Is there anyone else? Oh God, I've missed somebody, have I? I don't think I have actually, have I? I think that's all of you, isn't it, this evening? Please tell me I haven't missed anybody. I think, oh, Charlotte. I knew there was someone else. I've seen. Thank you all so much. And I'd really like if you could comment and subscribe, guys. Comment and subscribe. I don't know if Jerome's ever stuck around for the jingle, but I don't think this is kind of the thing he was looking for. But comment and subscribe, guys. It just looks quite angry, doesn't it? Comment, subscribe. I really appreciate it. But yeah, thank you all so much, guys. I really appreciate it. And I will see you at 8 p.m. on Thursday. Fingers crossed YouTube have sorted everything out and we can just call that a bleep the past couple of weeks. So have a lovely couple of days and I will see you in 2 days, guys. Comment, subscribe, guys. Comment. I'm still here. Comment, subscribe. Thank you.